I step out of the gas station bathroom and into the Nevada heat, the sun's glare momentarily blinding me. My hand shields my eyes as I scan the parking lot, searching for our silver SUV. It's not where Dad parked it. Not anywhere. "Mom?" I call out, my voice small against the vast emptiness of desert and highway. The parking lot holds only 2 pickup trucks and a motorcycle. No SUV, no family. The concrete burns through my thin sandals as I make a complete circle, heart accelerating with each step. They wouldn't have, they couldn't have, but they did. The realization crashes into me like a physical blow. They left. Without me. The air suddenly feels too thin to breathe, the sunlight too harsh against my skin. They'll come back, I whisper to myself, the words hollow even as they leave my lips. They'll notice I'm gone. My wallet sits in my purse on the floor of the car. My phone rests in the cup holder where I placed it before heading to the bathroom. My ID, my credit cards, everything gone with them. The summer heat wraps around me like a wool blanket while something cold and terrible spreads through my chest. I stand frozen, watching the distant shimmer of heat waves on the highway, waiting for the silver glint of our returning SUV. "Miss, you okay there?" I turn to find an older man watching me from the doorway of the gas station. His weathered face crinkles with concern beneath a faded blue cap. His name tag reads, Mateo. "My family," I manage, gesturing toward the empty parking space. "They're gone." Mateo steps outside, his eyes scanning the parking lot before returning to my face. There's no surprise in his expression, just a quiet understanding that cuts deeper than shock would have. "Your folks just left, didn't they?" I've seen that look before. I nod, unable to form words around the lump in my throat. "Come on inside," he says gently. "It's too hot to stand out here. We'll figure something out." The air-conditioned interior offers little comfort as I follow Mateo to the counter. A small television in the corner drones about a heat advisory. "We're supposed to be heading to UNLV. I explain, my voice steadier than I feel. "My sister's orientation is tomorrow. I just went to use the bathroom and when I came out." My voice trails off. Mateo slides an old corded phone across the counter. "Try calling them." My fingers shake as I punch in my mother's cell number, each ring stretching into eternity. Voicemail. Dad's phone goes straight to voicemail too. I hang up without leaving a message. What would I even say? The morning flashes through my mind like frames from a movie I've watched too many times. Our house in Reno, spacious and cool in the early morning light. 6 bedrooms for 4 people. An excess of space that somehow never included enough room for me. Dad had been loading the car with military precision, rearranging luggage to maximize trunk space. "We need to be on the road by 7, he kept saying, checking his watch every few minutes. Mom hovered around Kira, my 17-year-old sister, fussing over her outfit. "You want to look perfect for orientation photos." I carried suitcases from the house, making 3 trips while no one noticed. Kira hadn't packed until midnight, too busy on FaceTime with friends, mourning their upcoming separation, even though half of them were also going to UNLV. "This is going to be the best weekend ever," Kira had gushed as we finally pulled out of the driveway, her voice drowning out the soft classical music Dad had selected for the drive. "I can't believe I'm finally starting college." The car had felt suffocating from the moment I climbed in. Kira claimed the front passenger seat for her long legs, while I was relegated to the 3rd row, wedged behind suitcases and boxes of dorm supplies. "Mom, I can barely breathe back here," I'd said as Dad pulled onto the highway. Mom turned slightly, not enough to actually see me. "You're used to being low maintenance, honey. Kira needs the extra space." Dad checked his watch, then the GPS. "We need to make good time for Kira's orientation. No unnecessary stops." The irony of that statement now makes my stomach clench. "Still nothing?" Mateo asks, pulling me back to the present. I shake my head, watching the clock on the wall tick past 30 minutes since I'd come out of the bathroom. The sinking feeling in my stomach hardens into a cold certainty. They didn't even notice I was gone. The words feel strange in my mouth, a truth I've always known but never said aloud. Mateo places a paper cup of water on the counter. "Want to try calling them again, hun?" My hand shakes as I reach for the phone, but I don't dial my parents' numbers. Instead, my fingers tap out Grandma Ruth's number, the only one I know by heart besides my own. She answers on the second ring. Hello? Grandma Ruth? My voice cracks. It's Cadence. I need help. The clock behind the counter reads 2:17 p.m. I've been forgotten in the Nevada desert, and for the first time, I'm forced to admit that this isn't a mistake. It's just the most honest version of what my family has been doing to me all my life. They left you? Grandma Ruth's voice crackles through the phone, horror vibrating in each syllable. Her reaction washes over me like validation someone finally sees the wrongness of what just happened. I press the receiver closer to my ear, hungry for the concern in her voice. At the gas station, I went to the bathroom and came out to an empty parking spot. Cadence, honey. She pauses, and I can picture her pushing her reading glasses atop her silver hair, a habit when she's upset. This isn't right. This isn't right at all. My throat tightens at the stark difference between Ruth's immediate alarm and my family's complete absence. They're not answering their phones. I'm calling them right now. Stay where you are. The fierceness in her tone wraps around me like a protective blanket. Are you safe? Is someone there with you? The clerk, Mateo. He's been kind. Ruth makes a small sound of approval. Good. I'll call you right back. While waiting, memories wash over me like frames from a slideshow I've never wanted to watch. Kira's Sweet 16 last year, a mountain resort weekend with 30 friends and a live DJ. Dad took a rare Friday off work. Mom spent weeks planning every detail, from personalized photo banners to a 3-tier cake with edible gold flakes. My 16th birthday? A $20 bookstore gift card and Chinese takeout. My fortune cookie promising, great recognition is coming your way. The irony wasn't lost on me even then. The phone rings, startling me. Ruth's voice comes through tighter than before. Straight to voicemail, she says. Both of them. They probably turned their phones off for Kira's orientation. I hear myself making excuses for them, a lifelong habit. Stop that, Cadence. Ruth's gentleness carries steel underneath. Stop excusing them. The words hit like a physical blow. I sink onto a plastic chair, aware of Mateo watching me with concern from behind the counter. Remember when you won the state debate championship? Ruth continues. Twice, Cadence. And they missed both finals. Dad had that conference in Phoenix, I murmur automatically. The first time. The second time they were at Kira's volleyball game, a regular season game, not even playoffs. Ruth's breath catches. I saw your face when you scanned the audience and realized they weren't there. My eyes burn with unshed tears. Remember when you got that full-ride scholarship to UNR? Ruth presses on, unleashing years of witness slights. Your mother actually said, "That's great, honey," and in the same breath turned to Kira and asked, "Do you want the silver or blue dress for prom?" I remember, I whisper, a strange hollowness expanding in my chest. Ruth falls quiet for a moment. I should have said something years ago. Every time I visited, I saw it happening. They'd tell me, Cadence is the one we don't have to worry about. As if being reliable meant you deserved less attention. I think of my academic awards gathering dust in a desk drawer while Kira's volleyball participation trophies command the living room shelves. Perfect grades expected, never celebrated. Meanwhile, Mom framed Kira's report card when she pulled her English grade up to a C+. I've tried talking to your father, Ruth continues. My own son. He just doesn't see it. Neither of them do. They've convinced themselves that ignoring you is somehow a compliment to your independence. The bell above the door jingles as a middle-aged couple enters the station. Mateo greets them while keeping a watchful eye on me. Remember last Christmas? Ruth asks, her voice softening. I do. Kira's pile of presents towered over my modest view. When I opened my single sweater, plain beige, wrong size, Mom had already turned to watch Kira unwrap her new iPad. Look at our family photos sometime, Ruth says. Really look at them. You're always on the edge of the frame, like they're not quite sure where to fit you. I've never articulated these patterns aloud, yet Ruth has seen them all. The knowledge that someone noticed that I wasn't crazy or ungrateful for feeling invisible breaks something loose inside me. Mateo approaches with a steaming cup of coffee. Mind if I sit a moment? Eleanor's covering the register. He settles his weathered frame into the chair beside me. Been making coffee here for 32 years. Secrets in the timing. I take the cup, the warmth seeping into my fingers. Being forgotten doesn't mean you're forgettable, he says quietly, eyes crinkling at the corners. Ruth's voice comes through the phone, Cadence, are you still there? I'm here, I answer, my voice steadier than before. I'm getting in my car right now. I'll be there in 2.5 hours. You don't have to. Yes, I do. I've waited too long already. After we hang up, tears finally come, not for being left behind today, but for all the years of standing in plain sight while remaining unseen. These aren't tears of self-pity, but of recognition. Mateo offers a paper napkin without comment. I deserve better than this, I say, the words strange and new on my tongue. Mateo nods, the simple gesture affirming what my family never has, that I matter enough to be seen. My phone pings with a text from Ruth. I'm getting in my car right now. I'll be there in 2 hours. For the first time today, I feel something like hope unfurling in my chest. 40 minutes away, my family sits at a corner booth in a food plaza just off the highway. I can see them in my mind, perfectly arranged like figures in a diorama. Dad checking his watch, Mom adjusting Kira's collar, Kira's fingers flying over her phone screen. I know this because Eleanor, Mateo's wife, who arrived for the afternoon shift, showed me Kira's latest Instagram post. College drop-off road trip, family first. The photo shows my parents and sister smiling over plates of chicken tenders and fries. Dad's arm is draped across Mom's shoulders. Kira's manicured hand makes a peace sign. The frame is tight, perfectly composed. No empty space where I should be, because there never was space for me at all. Highway traffic looks clear all the way to Vegas. Dad would be saying, studying his phone. We should make good time for your check-in, Kira Bear. Meanwhile, I sit on a plastic chair behind the counter at Desert Sun Gas and Convenience, nursing my 3rd cup of water, watching the minute hand on the wall clock complete another full circle. Cadence, this is my wife Eleanor, Mateo says as a woman with silver-streaked black hair bustles through the door. She wears the same blue vest as Mateo, but where his energy is steady as a mountain, hers crackles like static electricity. The abandoned daughter, Eleanor says, extending her hand. Her grip is firm, her eyes sharp and assessing. Mateo texted me. I brought you something. She produces a phone charger from her purse. For when your folks come back with your phone. And this. She sets a paper bag on the counter. Peanut butter sandwich. Growing girl needs to eat. My throat tightens. Thank you. Called my grandmother, I explained to Eleanor. She's driving down from Carson City. Good, Eleanor nods. Family that remembers you exists. That's a start. A bell chimes as the door opens. An elderly couple enters, the woman leaning on her husband's arm. They move with the synchronized rhythm of people who have spent decades adjusting their pace to match each other. Frank and Marion, Mateo introduces as they approach the counter. From Florida, driving cross-country to see their grandkids. Marion's eyes crinkle with concern when Mateo explains my situation. Oh, honey, that's just not right. Frank shakes his head, his leathery face folding into deeper creases. Our Bethany didn't speak to us for 7 years. Thought we were too controlling about her boyfriend. 8 years, Marion corrects gently. She came around when the twins were born, Frank continues. Now we FaceTime every Sunday. The point is, Marion says, patting my hand, family can disappoint you something terrible, but there's always a way back if both sides want it enough. I nod, not trusting myself to speak. Do I want a way back? Do they? A trucker offers me his portable phone charger. A woman traveling with 3 children gives me a granola bar from her seemingly bottomless tote bag. A college student lets me use his laptop to check my email, though there's nothing from my family there either. Each small kindness from these strangers feels like water in a desert I've wandered my entire life. The clock on the wall reads 4:17 p.m. 2 hours since I emerged from the bathroom to find my family gone. Your grandmother call again? Eleanor asks, restocking the coffee filters behind the counter. I nod. Straight to voicemail. Again. That woman's going to blow a gasket when she catches up with them. Mateo chuckles. She once drove 6 hours to attend my debate championship when my parents couldn't make it, I say. Wouldn't miss it, she said. Sounds like she sees you. Eleanor says, the simple observation hitting me like a physical blow. Sees you. Present tense. Active. Mateo beckons me behind the counter. Come here. I'll teach you how to make the perfect cup of coffee while we wait. He guides me through measuring the grounds, setting the temperature, timing the brew. His movements are precise, practiced over decades. My father was a barista in Mexico before we moved north, he explains. Taught me everything about coffee and people. Both are more complex than they appear, require patience to understand. He hands me the finished cup. Sometimes we find family in unexpected places, Cadence. People who see us when others look past. The coffee is rich and smooth, nothing like the bitter brew I make in my dorm room. Can I borrow a pen and paper? I ask suddenly. Eleanor produces both from beside the register. I stare at the blank gas station receipt for a long moment, then write 8 words that have been forming in my mind for hours. If they don't count, you count yourself. Eleanor studies my handwriting, then reaches beneath the counter for an old Polaroid camera. Mind if I take your picture with that? I hold up the receipt as she frames the shot. The camera whirs and spits out a developing square. Something to remember this day by, she says, handing me the Polaroid once the image appears. The day you start becoming visible. I study the photo, my face serious, determined, holding up words I've never been brave enough to think before today. 40 minutes away, Kira finally checks her phone after 2 hours of blissful self-absorption. Grandma's called like 20 times. She announces to my parents, genuine confusion in her voice. Mom looks up from her iced tea. What could possibly be wrong? I imagine the moment unfolding like a slow-motion scene in a movie, Kira's perfectly shaped eyebrows drawing together, her gaze sweeping across the restaurant, then back to our parents. Where's Cadence? Dad's face would blank first, then horror would dawn like a sunrise in reverse, darkness spreading instead of light. She was in the bathroom at the gas station, he would say, the words hollow with 4 hours of unforgivable negligence. And Mom, always focused on the practical, would think first of schedules and plans. This is going to make us late for orientation. Back at Desert Sun, I pace between the snack aisle and the refrigerated drinks, practicing what I'll say when they return. I was abandoned for 2 hours without a phone, money, or ID in 105-degree heat. No, too accusatory. I understand I'm not a priority, but basic human decency. Too passive-aggressive. You forgot me, like you always do. Too dramatic, or just true? Eleanor leans against the counter, arms crossed. Stand your ground, Cadence. Don't let them brush this aside. That's right, Mateo agrees. Don't let them minimize this, young lady. What happened today isn't normal or acceptable. My phone pings with a text from Grandma Ruth. I'm half an hour away. Don't let them minimize this. The same words, as if the universe is sending me a message through different messengers. Outside, tires crunch on gravel. Through the window, I watch a familiar silver SUV pull into the parking lot, moving cautiously like a predator uncertain of its welcome. They've remembered me at last. I straighten my shoulders and move toward the door, feeling the weight of the Polaroid in my pocket, the warmth of strangers' kindness at my back, and for the first time in my life, the certainty that I deserve to be seen. The silver SUV pulls into the gas station without urgency, tires crunching over gravel like it's just another stop on their journey. No squealing brakes, no doors flying open. Just a casual arrival that tells me everything I need to know about the last 4 hours of my absence. Mom steps out first, her designer sunglasses perched on her nose, scanning the station like she's looking for a restroom sign rather than her missing daughter. There you are, she says when she spots me. You made us late for Kira's check-in, you know. The words hit me like a physical blow. Not, are you okay? Not, we were so worried. Just an accusation, as if I'd deliberately orchestrated being abandoned in the desert. Dad slides from the driver's seat, immediately checking his watch. We need to get back on the road if we're going to make the afternoon orientation session. Kira emerges last, phone in hand, thumbs still tapping at the screen. She glances up briefly. I honestly thought you were asleep behind the suitcases. She shrugs and returns to her phone. Not one apology, not one admission of wrongdoing. I stand beside Mateo and Eleanor, their presence solid and comforting at my back. The gas station has become more home to me in 4 hours than our house in Reno has felt in years. You were gone for more than 2 hours, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. No one noticed I wasn't there. The facts hang in the air between us, unadorned by accusation. Just the simple truth that needs no embellishment. Mom adjusts her purse strap. You know how important this day is for Kira. Let's not make a big deal out of this, Dad adds, keys jingling in his hand. You're fine. Fine. The word echoes in my head. Fine is what you say about the weather when it's neither good nor bad. Fine is what you call acceptable work that doesn't stand out. Fine is the bare minimum of human existence. I notice then that we have an audience. The elderly couple from Florida stand near their rental car, watching with undisguised concern. A trucker pauses while filling his tank. The teenage cashier who relieved Mateo for his break leans against the doorframe. "You forgot your daughter at a gas station in the desert," Eleanor says, her voice carrying across the parking lot. The words sound different coming from her, sharper, more damning than when I thought them. Mom's smile tightens at the corners. "This is a family matter." "Family matters are supposed to include the whole family," Mateo counters, his weathered hand resting lightly on my shoulder. The shame of having strangers care more than my family burns in my chest. I look at the 3 people who share my DNA and search for any sign that they understand what they've done. "Where's my backpack?" I ask, noticing for the first time that Mom isn't carrying it. "In the car," she answers, a hint of irritation creeping into her voice. "Where else would it be?" "My keychain," I say. "The little silver owl that was attached to it, is it still there?" Something flickers across Mom's face, recognition, then dismissal. "It fell off. I tossed it, it looked old." The breath leaves my body all at once. "That was from Grandma Ruth. She gave it to me in 5th grade." "Well, how was I supposed to know that?" Mom's defensive tone rings hollow in the afternoon heat. "That was the only thing I had from my childhood that mattered." My voice breaks for the first time since they left me, a small crack in the careful composure I've maintained. A murmur ripples through our unwitting audience. The Florida woman shakes her head, lips pressed into a thin line of disapproval. The trucker turns away, as if embarrassed to witness such naked disregard. "It was just a keychain, Cadence," Dad says. "We'll get you another one." "It's not about the keychain," I reply, but the words feel futile. How do you explain colors to people who've chosen to see in black and white? A bit later, the rumble of an approaching car turns all our heads. A familiar blue sedan pulls into the station, parking near the air pump. The car door opens, and Grandma Ruth emerges, her silver hair catching the sunlight, her movements quick despite her 70 years. Her eyes find me immediately, and the naked relief on her face is like looking into a mirror that finally reflects you clearly. "Cadence," she calls, crossing the distance between us. Her arms wrap around me, warm and solid. "Are you okay, sweetheart?" The simple question nearly undoes me. How long has it been since someone asked me that and waited for an honest answer? "I am now," I tell her, and mean it. Ruth turns to her son and daughter-in-law, her expression hardening. "How could you not notice? How do you drive for 4 hours and not realize your daughter isn't in the car?" "Mom, we don't need to do this here," Dad says, glancing at the onlookers. "Where would you prefer to discuss abandoning your child?" Ruth's voice carries the weight of years of watching from the sidelines. "At Kira's orientation? Over dinner tonight? When exactly is convenient for you, Victor?" The confrontation happening in broad daylight with witnesses makes my parents visibly uncomfortable. They've always preferred to keep appearances intact, to maintain the illusion of our perfect family with its perfect house and perfect achievements. "I'd like to ride with Grandma Ruth the rest of the way," I say, the decision crystallizing in the moment I speak it. Mom's eyes widen slightly. "Don't be ridiculous. We're all going together as a family." "We stopped being a family when you left me behind," I reply, the words coming from somewhere deep and certain inside me, and didn't even notice I was gone. Dad steps forward, his businessman smile firmly in place. "Everyone's emotions are running high. Let's all get in the car and we can discuss this later." "There's nothing to discuss," I say, moving to stand beside Ruth. "I'm riding with Grandma." Mom looks around at the gathered spectators, her smile strained. "We're just having a little family disagreement. Everything's fine." There's that word again. Fine. I'm not fine with being forgotten. I'm not fine with being an afterthought. I'm not fine with living on the edges of my own family. "I'll see you at the university," I tell them, turning toward Ruth's car. As I walk away, I hear Kira's voice behind me, softer than before. "Mom, maybe we should," but I don't wait to hear what she thinks we should do. For the first time in my life, I'm doing what I should have done years ago. I'm becoming visible. The UNLV campus thrums with energy as we pull into the dormitory area. Cars line every available curb, their trunks yawning open to reveal the collective possessions of freshmen starting their college journeys. Parents dart between vehicles and buildings, arms loaded with plastic storage bins and bedding. Orientation volunteers in bright red shirts direct traffic with the practiced enthusiasm of summer camp counselors. None of this cheerful chaos touches the cold silence inside our SUV. I've spent the last hour in Grandma Ruth's car, following my parents and Kira. The desert abandonment hangs between us like an uninvited passenger. Dad parks with military precision, already scanning his checklist. Kira, your check-in is at administration first. Then we move your things to Tonopah Hall. Mom straightens her blouse, applying a fresh coat of lipstick in the visor mirror. I've got the camera ready for your orientation photos. I stand apart from them, watching this familiar choreography. The starring role belongs to Kira, as always. The supporting cast Mom and Dad orbit around her. And me? I'm barely an extra, expected to blend into the background until needed for manual labor. Cadence, grab that box of desk supplies. Dad calls without looking at me. Ruth places a steadying hand on my shoulder. Victor, I think Cadence has her own preparations to handle today. There's plenty of time for that after we get Kira settled, Mom says, handing Kira a water bottle. Hydrate, sweetheart. It's so hot today. The irony burns worse than the Nevada Sunday, 4 hours abandoned at a gas station in this same heat, and not one genuine apology. Just expectations that I'll fall back in line. Mom approaches while Dad and Kira check in at the welcome table. Her voice drops to that particular tone she uses when delivering veiled criticism wrapped in concern. You're always so quiet, Cadence. You could have spoken up before we left the gas station. The audacity steals my breath. Spoken up? I was in the bathroom. Well, we can't read minds, she says with a tight smile. And right now, we need to focus on Kira's big day. Dad returns, keys jingling in his hand. Let's get these boxes moved. The orientation schedule is tight. You're fine, he adds when he notices my expression. Let's not be dramatic on Kira's big day. There at Island, the dismissal, the minimizing, the subtle redirection that makes my feelings the problem. We have enough stress with orientation without you adding to it. Mom says, glancing around at other families. Everyone's watching. The quad bustles with activity, parents hugging teary freshmen, siblings carrying mini fridges, roommates meeting for the first time, normal families experiencing normal transitions. And here we are, pretending nothing happened, expecting me to make myself invisible again for Kira's sake. Something shifts inside me, a tectonic plate finally breaking free after years of pressure. I stand straighter, my voice finding a strength I didn't know I possessed. Being independent doesn't mean I deserve to be invisible. The words carry across the dormitory quad. Nearby parents pause, conversations momentarily suspended. Not here, Cadence, Mom hisses, but I'm done whispering. For 22 years, I've been the daughter you didn't have to worry about, the one who got straight A's without congratulations, the one who won debate championships you never attended. Dad steps closer, lowering his voice. This isn't the time or place. When is the time? I ask, my voice steady despite the hurricane in my chest. I've spent my entire life making myself small so Kira could shine. I turn to my sister, whose wide eyes suggest she's truly seeing me for the first time. My 16th birthday dinner was takeout pizza while you got a mountain resort party with 50 guests. I sat alone at my college orientation because everyone was at your volleyball tournament. The words pour out of me, years of forgotten moments finally acknowledged. My high school graduation, where they arrived late and left early. The scholarship announcement they missed because Kira needed prom shoes. A lifetime of being an afterthought distilled into a moment of painful clarity. Ruth steps forward, her small frame somehow filling the space between me and my parents. I've always seen her, she says, voice quiet but carrying the weight of certainty. Why can't you? She turns to Dad, her own son, with a mother's unflinching assessment. Victor, when was the last time you asked Cadence about her dreams? Dad shifts uncomfortably, car keys turning over and over in his hand. Ruth faces Mom next. When did you stop seeing both your daughters instead of just one? The question hangs in the air, unanswered because any honest response would crack the facade they've maintained for years. Around us, other families have grown quiet. A father pulling a storage cart stops to watch. A mother beside him whispers something in his ear. The public nature of this confrontation would have mortified me once. Now it feels like witnesses to a truth too long denied. Kira approaches slowly, leaving our parents behind. Her face shows confusion, then dawning comprehension. "I never realized," she begins, her voice smaller than I've ever heard it. "I know you didn't." I tell her, gentler than with our parents. That's part of the problem. Dad clears his throat, glancing at the growing audience. "We should continue this discussion in private. Cadence, help your sister carry her things to the dorm, and we'll talk later." It's the same old pattern: minimize, redirect, delay. But I'm no longer following that script. I need to prepare for my own semester. I say, the simple boundary feeling like scaling a mountain. My housing check-in starts in 20 minutes. Mom's mouth falls open. This small act of self-prioritization seems to shock her more than anything else. "Cadence, we're not finished discussing this," Dad says, authority wavering in his voice. I look at him directly, no longer avoiding eye contact or shrinking my presence. "I am." With those two words, I turn and walk across the quad toward my own dormitory, Ruth's footsteps quick beside mine. Behind us, I hear Kira ask, "Should I go after her?" Mom's response fades as we walk away. "Let her cool off. She'll come around. She always does. But for the first time in my life, I won't. Not anymore." 1 week into my new life at UNLV, my dorm room finally feels like mine. Not an afterthought, not a shared space where I'm relegated to the corners completely, undeniably mine. The afternoon sun filters through curtains. I selected myself, casting a warm glow across the small desk, where I've arranged my belongings with purpose. Grandma Ruth's photos sit prominently on the windowsill, her smile catching the light. Next to them, a small coffee station mimics Mateo's careful setup from the gas station, the ceramic pour-over cone, the hand grinder, the timer for perfect extraction. A ritual of self-care he taught me during those 4 hours when my family forgot I existed. I touch the Polaroid pinned to my bulletin board, the one Eleanor took of me holding that gas station receipt with my hastily scrawled affirmation. My fingers trace the words that have become my mantra: "If they don't count, you count yourself." The stark contrast between then and now sometimes takes my breath away. A week ago, I was wedged behind suitcases in the third row of an SUV, making myself smaller to accommodate everyone else's needs. Today, I sprawl across my bed with textbooks surrounding me, taking up exactly as much space as I desire. At my desk, I pull out a sheet of stationery actual paper, not a hasty note on the back of a receipt. The pen feels solid in my hand as I begin writing. "Dear future Cadence." I write, the words flowing easier than expected. "If you ever feel like you don't matter, remember, you survived the day they left you and didn't look back." I pause, breathing deeply before continuing. "Your worth isn't measured by their ability to see it." The truth of these words settles into my bones as I fold the letter carefully, sliding it into a small wooden box. Ruth brought me last weekend. It sits on my nightstand now, a repository for reminders I might need on harder days. Yesterday, I applied for a part-time position at the campus library. The interviewer actually looked me in the eyes the entire conversation, asked follow-up questions about my cataloging experience, and remembered my name when I left. Such simple courtesies shouldn't feel revolutionary. The debate team coach approached me after I visited their practice session. "We could use someone with your analytical skills," he said, having heard me offer a single comment from the back row. One comment noticed, valued, remembered. My phone buzzes with a text from Jacqueline, a girl from my literature class, who suggested we grab coffee after discovering our shared love of obscure Russian novels. Another from Sam in my dormitory inviting me to a movie night. People who actively seek my company, who text first, who notice when I'm not there. Later tonight, Mateo and Eleanor are expecting my weekly call. Our desert daughter, Eleanor calls me, always asking about my classes with genuine interest. They've officially adopted me into their lives, sending care packages despite having known me for exactly 7 days. My mother's voicemails grow shorter each time. "Call when you can." The latest one ends, uncertainty replacing her usual certainty. My father's email arrived yesterday, practical details about insurance and tuition payments, facts and figures, without emotion. I've answered neither. Kira's message sits in my inbox, longer and more vulnerable than anything she's ever said to me. I'm sorry. I didn't realize how badly we've treated you. Her first real attempt to see me as my own person, not just as her background character. I tape a small note to my mirror, right at eye level. If they don't count, you count yourself in. My reflection looks back at me, shoulders relaxed, eyes clear. When my phone rings with Kira's caller ID, I consider letting it go to voicemail. Instead, I answer, "Can we meet for coffee?" she asks, her voice smaller than I remember. I pause, not from indecision, but from the power of finally having choice. "Yes," I say firmly, "but on my terms."